Hello gamers, it's Tom Sidener, the Lonely Gamer, and today I am going to attempt to play Massive Darkness. I kickstarted this game and I just received it not too long ago, and I have never played it. This is my first time of playing it, so I'm sure I'm probably going to make a mistake or two, so if I do, feel free to leave a comment below here. But I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try and play the quest number 2, which is the Black Widow quest. The reason I want to play this is because I love spiders. I actually have a pet tarantula, so I really like spiders, so I really want to try to play this quest and interact with the giant spider. I do know from looking at some stuff on the forums that this is one of the hardest quests, so I'm going to actually house rule one rule, and that rule is going to be the spider is normally moves after every round, but since there's only one of me and I want to try to build myself up just a little bit before I fight the spider, I'm going to house rule that the spider doesn't start moving until I open this door. And once I open that door, then the spider will start heading towards the exit, and that's the actual end game. If the spider gets to the exit before I kill him, then he wins, or if he gets to the exit before I kill him, he wins. So we're going to give this a shot. It did say in the thing to go ahead and spawn the giant spider, greater roaming monster. I know that when you spawn a monster, you're supposed to go ahead and spawn a treasure with them as well. So I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do that in this case, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn a level 1 treasure with him because we're at the beginning, it's level 1, so I'm assuming that he gets a level 1 treasure. Like I said, I'm making some assumptions here, so if I'm not right, comments below. Alright, so I'm going to pick a level 1 treasure. It is a trap chest. It's a trap, so it says in the rules that if you draw a trap during spawning monsters, just put it back and draw a different treasure. So I'm going to draw this, and he is going to get a Javelin of Sure Strike. I'm going to stick that underneath here like this, and now he's going to have a boatload of dice to roll in a ranged attack. That might work out in my favor because I picked Bjorn as my hero. He is a barbarian of some type. I'm using the recommended class. The recommended class was Shadow Barbarian. I'm using that. He does have a shadow mode skill, and that's when he's in shadows. On his attack, any bursts or stars, or BAMs I think they call them, you get a +1 wound. So it can't even be negated by defense. It just a wound, period. So it's good. Then also he has the special skill Headbutt, and that says that once per activation, roll 1 yellow dice and deal wounds equal to the number of swords and BAMs to 1 enemy in the same zone. Like I said, his recommended class was Shadow Barbarian, so I picked that as well. That's right here. He gets +1 max health, so I'm going to go ahead and move him up to 6 here. He gets that for free. He also can spend XP to instantly kill 1 targeted minion, which that might help as well. I took the leather armor, which is recommended for starting equipment, and I also took the axe level 1 starting equipment because it looks like he has an axe in his picture. I set up my pins at 0 for XP, 0 for micro XP, but I won't even be using this because we don't use micro XP in this mode. And I set up my pin originally at 5 for his health, but then I get the +1 health from his free class skill, so I moved that to 6. I took the first player token, which I'm the only player, so this will not move around. I will be first player. I set up 2 tokens on the Lifebringer card, so I can die twice. I think he's going to escape before I die twice, but we're going to find out. I set up all the treasure cards here in piles. I shuffled them and set them up from treasure 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now this only has a 3 on there, so I don't imagine we'll ever get to 4 or 5 treasures. I've got my event deck shuffled in here, and my door deck shuffled in here. I have my monster guard decks set up here, shuffled in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I also have my greater roaming monster and my lesser roaming monsters here. So I think I have everything set up. I've got all my minions over here. I've got some chests here, and I've got some roaming monsters over there if needed. I do not know what I'm going to run into in this game because, like I said, I've never played it, so I don't know how many of these figures are going to come out. Now, one thing I will note is I am only using the stuff in the base retail box. So if you bought the retail box, you could actually play this exactly like I am, except for I am using the plastic chests, where in the retail box the chests are actually just little cardboard tokens. But I do want to use these because I actually like these. So anyway, other than that, I think I'm ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and proceed with the game. So the first phase, I'm going to go through the phases just so I don't forget anything for the first few turns. The first phase is the player phase. So in the player phase, I get 3 actions, and those actions can be a bunch of different things. In fact, I'll tell you what the different things that they can be are, just so you know. I can do movement, and when you do movement, you actually get 2 movement actions, which you can use for some of these items. Move, open a door, or pick up items. Okay? I can also, as 1 AP, do a combat action, which is fight. I can use 1 AP to do a reorganize or trade. I won't be doing any trading because there's nobody to trade with, but I might find some stuff and want to reorganize that stuff in my hand. When I find treasures, I can do a free reorganize at that point. I can get up if I've been knocked down for 1 AP. For 1 AP, I can do nothing, but if I do nothing, then I lose the rest of my AP. So if I have 3 AP and I do nothing on AP 1, I lose the rest of my AP. I can do transmutate, and I can discard 3 equipment cards and draw one that's 1 level higher than the lowest of them. So if I discard a 1 and 2 2s, I can draw a 2. And then also I can do a signature, which is spend 1 experience point to execute my signature move. And my signature move is to spend 1 AP to instantly kill 1 targeted minion. I also have my special skill on here that I mentioned before, my headbutt, and I can use that once per turn with no AP cost. Alright, I think I'm ready to go. Let's get started. So for my first action, I am going to do a move action, and I get 2 move points for that. So I'm going to do 1 move point to move here, and I'm going to do 1 move point to open this door. Once I open the door, I have to draw a door card, and I've got 2 sections in here that I've got to fill. So I'm going to draw the door card. In section 1, there's no enemy, but there's 2 chests. So I'm going to put 2 chests in here. And in the second location, we spawn a guard and 3 chests. So 3 chests go in here. This also contains a layer, and that layer is going to give me 5 XP when I pick that up. I'm going to go ahead and spawn a guard card. It's going to be a 1 guard, so I'm going to flip this card over here. And I got a goblin agent. So I'm going to find the goblin agent. I think this is the goblin agent, so I'm going to put him in this location. Since he's an agent, I'm going to go ahead and draw a treasure card for him from level 1. I'm going to place it under there, and that's a scepter. That gives him some extra magic, but he is not a magic user, so he's not going to be able to use that. Agents are not a mob, so he doesn't have any other figures around him, but agents have a special ability, and it says, at the end of the enemy's phase, spawn a guard on the level token of this tile. So if I don't take this guy out, he's going to spawn a guard here. There is no 3rd level, so I don't have to do anything for the 3rd here, and I'm just going to go ahead and discard this. Okay, so I've used one of my 3 actions. I moved and opened the door. I'm going to use another of my 3 actions, number 2, to do another move, and I get 2 movement points, and so I'm going to do move here and move here. So now I am in the location with the agent. I only have melee attack at this point, so I can't attack any other way. The goblin agent has 2 life times the number of characters, and since there's only me, that's 1, so he only has 2 life. So I'm going to hopefully bash him really good. I can't use my spend 1 XP instantly to kill 1 targeted minion because there's no minions, and also I have no XP yet. But I do have 1 action left, so I'm going to go ahead and try to hit him. So I'm going to use my axe, which gives me 1 red dice, and I'm hoping for a good roll on this 1 red dice. I also, if I don't take him out, I can use my headbutt to try to do a damage to him as well. But let's go ahead and hit him with my axe first and see what happens. Alright, so I hit him with my axe, and I don't know if you can see this on the camera or not, but I got 3 swords and a diamond. I have nothing on my thing for a diamond, but one thing I forgot, I was supposed to roll his defense along with my attack, so I'm going to go ahead and roll his defense now. He has a blue for 1 defense. In the future, I'm supposed to combine the dice and roll them at the same time, so I'm going to do that now. So he got 1 defense. So he defended one of my hits, so I do 2 hits on him. He has 2 life, so that actually takes him out. So he goes to the dead monster pile, and I get the scepter. So I'm going to take the scepter. I have a 2-handed weapon right now, so I can either switch this out, or I can put this kind of in my backpack. And I think I am going to go ahead and put this in my backpack because the scepter doesn't really help me all that much. This guy is removed from the game, and now that is the end of my turn because I used up all 3 of my action points. If I had not killed the agent with that attack, then at the end of my turn he would get to counterattack me, but he's not available anymore to counterattack me, so we get to skip that part. Next we're going to go to the enemy phase, and during the enemy phase, all the enemies on the board are going to try to attack the heroes. There are no enemies on the board. Normally the spider would actually move 1 place towards the exit, but like I said, I house ruled that the spider doesn't start moving until I open this door, so he's going to remain put for right now. This might make it a little easy for me to win this, but I'd rather have it be easy than hard. Some people like to have it rather hard than easy. It's just really personal preference. Alright, so the enemy phase will end because there's no enemies. Oh, I did kill an agent, and an agent gives you 4 XP, so I do have 4 XP on my board now for killing the agent. We now enter the experience phase. I could spend experience to get new skills, but I only have 4, and the cheapest skill that I have is a 5, so I'm going to just go ahead and hold on to my experience. Then we go to the event phase. I'll draw an event card and resolve that. My event says Forward Monster Patrol. If there are already roaming monsters in play, activate one. If not, spawn a roaming monster card. Place the enemy in a zone with the token of the current level +1. So since it's a level 1 right now, since we're currently in level 1, I draw a lesser roaming monster. If the level was 4 or above, I would draw a greater roaming monster. So let's go ahead and draw a lesser roaming monster. It's a high troll, so I'm going to grab a high troll out of the box. And the high troll is going to get spawned at level 2 because it said to put the roaming monster at the level +1, which would be 2, so he's going to go there. So when I get through this door, I'm going to have a mess to deal with. I'm going to set him out here. I'm going to draw a treasure to go with him, so he gets a skirmish bow. He is not a ranged character, so he will not be able to use the bow, but I sure would like to have that bow, so maybe I'll have to go try to take him out and get that bow. Alright, so that's the end of the event phase, and then we go to the end phase. The game has not ended, so then we go back to the player phase, and we start all over. And those are all the phases that we're going to do throughout the game. I'm not going to read them all off from now on. We'll just go through them naturally. So I have 3 AP to spend. So for my first action, I'm going to do a movement action. I get 2 movement points, and I can actually use 1 movement point to pick up all the items in this location. So that's actually kind of nice. So I'm going to pick this up. The layer actually gives me 5 XP. That's all it really does. So I'm going to set that over here and take myself up to 9 XP. Then I'm going to pick up these treasures, and I'm going to get to draw 3 treasures. All of them from the first level because we're in first level now. So I'm going to put my treasures back. I'm going to draw 3 treasures. Now at this point, I can actually reorganize for free if I would like. I got a Orb of Courage. It gives me attack +1 to the hero and all allies in the same and adjacent zones. I've got a plague javelin, which will give me ranged attack, and on a bam it gives me +1 wound, which is nice. And then I also got a lucky find level 1. Resolve this card as if the hero just picked up a treasure token, otherwise discard it and draw the next card. Draw a level 2 treasure card, discard this card after resolution. So I'm going to discard this card and draw a level 2 card. That's kind of nice. So I actually found a level 2. I got a trap chest sleeping gas. Yay. Oh, it says resolve this card if the hero just picked up a treasure token. I did not. So it says otherwise discard it and draw the next one. Okay, well that's actually good. So since this wasn't off of picking up a token, I get to actually pick a different one. And I found a longsword. Now that longsword will definitely help me, so I'm going to use my free reorganize, and I'm going to get rid of my axe, and I'm going to take the longsword. The longsword will actually give me the same dice roll as the axe gave me, a red dice, but it also gives me 1 more defense, so that's nice. And it's one-handed, so that means I can put something else in my other hand that's one-handed. I do have a scepter, which would actually give me a little bit of range, just a little magic range, so I think I'm actually going to put the scepter in my other hand too for now. Hopefully eventually I'll get another really good melee thing, but for now I'm going to go ahead and take the scepter. That was one movement action. For my second movement action, I'm going to go here. Then I'm going to take, for my second action, I'm going to take another movement, which gives me 2 movement actions. I'm going to use my first movement action to pick up these treasure chests. I'll draw 2 treasures for that. Mage's Charm and a Javelin. It says once per activation roll 1 yellow dice and deal wounds equal to the number of swords to 1 enemy in the line of sight at range 0 to 2. That's kind of nice actually. And then this is a Javelin. And it says can be used to resolve melee actions at range 0. But it's a 2-handed and I don't want to use that. This one is intriguing because this Mage's Charm actually will let me do damage with a yellow dice 0 to 2, which means my location, the next location, or the next location, plus it looks like it's a free action. So I'm going to go ahead and replace the scepter with the Mage's Charm. Alright, so I'm going to use my second movement action to move out here. I have 1 action left. I'm a little bit leery about bringing out this spider, but why not? Let's just go in. Let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and take another movement action. For my first action, I'm going to move there, and for my second movement action, I'm going to open this door. I did not have to reopen this door because it was already open. And because I opened that door, I do have to draw a door card. And it says here I've got to spawn a guard card and 2 treasures. And I'm still in level 1 because I haven't got to this tile yet. So I am going to draw a level 1 guard card, and it's Dwarf Defenders. So here is the Dwarf Defender champion, and he gets 1 minion for every player, which there's only 1, just me. So he's going to go here, and one of his little Dwarf Defender guys, it's the guys with the little swords here, are going to go on here as well. So I have a couple guys to fight. I'm going to put his card out here so you guys can see it, and then I'm going to draw a level 1 treasure, and it's a Charm of Protection. Because I drew an item card, guards cannot use item cards, but he carries it, so I will get it if I defeat him, but it has no use to him. Alright, so that's the end of the player phase. I didn't attack anybody, so there's no counterattack. The enemy phase will start now, and we will go ahead and activate each one of the enemies. So we're going to activate this guy, and the way the activation works is he will try to attack somebody in his square if he is a melee creature, and he will try to attack somebody in his line of sight if he is a ranged or magic user. But the problem is he has a bow here, but because he doesn't have any dice in bows originally, he can't use a bow. Monsters cannot use anything that they don't originally have a dice, at least one dice in. So he can't use bow, even though he would have line of sight to me if he was a ranged creature. He's melee only, so all he can do for the first part of his activation is move. So he's going to move here. For the second part of his activation, he's going to try again to swing at somebody who's in the location that he's at, because he's a melee character. He can't swing at anybody, so he's going to move again, and that is going to conclude his activation. Then we'll activate the Dwarf Defenders. They are melee only, so they are going to attempt to hit somebody in their spot. They can't, so they are going to move, and then they are going to attempt to hit somebody in their spot, and they can, and so they are going to attack me, and they attack with 1 yellow dice, and I defend with 2 blue dice. So at the same time, I'm going to roll their yellow attack dice and my blue dice. Now they do have a thing that says on defense, reroll blank results 1 additional time, but they are not defending currently, they are attacking. So I'm going to go ahead and roll for the attack. They got 1 hit, but I got 2 defenses. I also got a BAM, but I don't have any special abilities on defense for the BAM, so that just gets wasted. But I did block their attack, so they do no damage to me. So their turn will end, and then we will go to the giant spider. He activates at the end of the enemy phase, and he's just going to move 1 spot. So he's going to move here, and he's going to attempt to scurry out of the dungeon. That's it for the enemies phase. We go to the experience phase. I have a bunch of experience now. I have 9 experience, and I actually want to buy something that costs 10, so I am not going to spend my experience points at this time. So we're going to move on to the event phase. Draw an event card. The event card says Shadow Inspiration. Choose 1 hero to immediately perform 1 action. So I'm going to choose myself, and I'm going to perform the attack action, and I'm going to try to attack these Dwarf Defenders. So I'm going to use my longsword. So I get a red dice. The Dwarf Defender have 2 blue dice for defense, and they also get to reroll blank results for their defense. So that kind of makes them hard to kill. They do only have 1 life, so let's see what we can do here. Alright, I got 2 hits and a BAM, which that's really good because the BAM actually gives me 1 additional wound if I'm in shadows, and I am in shadows. We are in a shadowy area. You can see this area is light, but this area is shadowed. So since I'm in shadow, I get to use my BAM, which says attack plus 1 wound. So I'm automatically going to take out this minion. Even though they blocked my attack, that 1 wound cannot be blocked. They could have rerolled blanks, but they didn't have any blanks, and they got 2 BAMs, but they have no use for the BAMs on their defense. That will end the event phase. I do get a experience point for taking out a minion, so minions give you 1 experience point, so I do get 1 experience point for that. And then we are going to go to the end phase. In the end phase, we see if the game has ended. It has not, and so then we go back to the player phase. So during the player phase, I am going to go ahead and first action, I'm going to make an attack against this guy. Actually, for a free action, before I take any other actions, I'm going to use my headbutt. And it says, once per activation, roll a yellow dice and deal wounds equal to the number of swords or BAMs. So I'm going to take a yellow dice and hope to headbutt this guy. I did. I hit him with a headbutt. He only has 1 life. All the minions are gone, so I can take out the master, so I can take him out. And I'm going to take his treasure, and he's going to the dead monster pile. I get this charm of protection, and I could apply this, and I could re-roll 1 of the attack dice of the people, but I'm not going to apply this right now. For my first actual action, I think I'm going to go ahead and transmute. So I'm going to transmute a couple level 1 items. I'm going to transmute my my starting axe, and I think I'll go ahead and transmute this Charm of Protection because I don't imagine I'm going to use that. And I'll transmute my Orb of Courage. You have to transmute 3 items, and you get to draw an item that's 1 more. So I'm going to go ahead and transmute these, level 1, and I'm going to draw a level 2 treasure. And I got a War Mace. That's a level 2 two-handed weapon. So now I've got to decide if I want to replace these 2 with this. This War Mace is kind of cool because it says if the attack does not wound the enemy, you may re-roll all the dice 1 additional time. So actually I think I'm going to go ahead and use this War Mace. It is a two-handed weapon, so I'm going to have to take out both of my weapons here, and I'm going to do that. So I've used my free special skill, my headbutt. I've used 1 action to transmute. I'm going to use my next action as a movement action, and I'm going to move 1, and I'm going to move 2. I'm not going to pick up the treasures that are there. I probably should, but I actually want to try to hit this spider because the goal of the game is to kill the spider. If I kill the spider, I win the game. I'm probably going to get waylaid on by the High Troll. Looks like he can do some major damage, but the spider can do some major damage too. This may not work out well for me, but let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my last action to do an attack action, and I'm going to attack the spider. So the spider has 7 health, so let's go ahead and see what kind of damage we can do. So I'm going to roll for my attack 1 red and 1 yellow, and for his defense for the spider, he's going to roll 2 blue and 2 green. One other thing, because I just stepped onto this tile here, we are now at level 2, so we flip over level 1 and we flip over level 2, so all things that happen at level 2 now. Guards, roaming monsters, treasures, so on and so forth. Alright, so here's what happened. A whole bunch of block and a whole lot of nothing on the attack. I did get a BAM on the attack, and we are standing in a shadow mode, so I will actually do 1 wound to the spider because I have shadow mode skill attack plus 1 wound. My War Mace said if the attack does not wound the enemy, you may reroll all the dice on 1 additional time, but I did wound him because I got the BAM here and I was able to use my shadow attack, so I do not get to re-roll. Now, that's the end of my turn because I only had the 1 attack. So now the spider actually gets to counterattack me. The spider has slippery, so he can actually move away from me. So his special ability is that he's going to counterattack me and then move away, which is really rough because now he's going to be even closer to the exit. But he's going to attack me, and he's going to attack with 2 yellows and a red. And I get 1 blue for my attack. Oh. Sorry, I got 1 blue for my defense, not my attack. So he did 2 damage to me, but I blocked 2, and I don't have any defensive skills here, but I don't take any damage because he did not damage me. Now wait a minute, I take that back. He has melee plus 2, so anytime he does a melee attack, he gets plus 2 on top of what he rolls, it looks like. So it looks like I am going to take 2 damage from this, so I'm going to take 2 damage. The spider is really tough, especially when he gets melee plus 2. Automatically, that's going to make him really hard to beat. So he counterattacked me because I attacked him, and then he's going to move forward 1 space. Now we go to the enemy phase. We're going to go ahead and do the Hill Giant. The Hill Giant is melee, so he is going to swing a yellow and a red at me, and I get a blue for defense. And here we go. He hit me for 4. 1, 2, 3, and a bam, 4. And I blocked 1. So I take 3. And I'm down to 1 life already, so I'm not doing too good. The spider, for his activation, he just moves 1. He's trying to get to the exit. He does not attack. Alright, this doesn't look too good for me. I'm not looking too good. I'm down to 1 life. I kind of rushed in, and that may not have been a good thing to do, but let's see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and take my turn. I think for the first part of my turn, I am going to just start swinging away. I got to deal with this high troll. So I get a yellow and a red for my attack. And then he gets a blue and a green for his defense. So let's see if we can do any damage to him whatsoever. We are still in shadow, so if I get a bam, that does 1 automatic wound. So he got 3 defense. He has no defense usage for that bam. And I got 3 attack, which is all blocked, but I did hit him with a bam, so I do get 1 wound on him. He has 6 wounds times the number of players, but since there's only 1 player, he has 6 wounds. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and use my second action to attack him again. Same thing. See if I can get a wound on him. The bams are helping me a lot. So it looks like I did get, he did block all my swords, but I do get a bam, which set me as +1 wound, so he does take a wound, so that's another wound on him. I'm slowly knocking him down. I'm going to go ahead, I wish I could kill him instantly with my crush, but I can't. So I'm going to go ahead and use my headbutt now. Hope for a good roll on my headbutt. I did get 1 hit on my headbutt, so that gives him another wound, but I am in severe I'm a severe disadvantage if I don't kill him. So last but not least, my last AP, I'm going to swing at him again. And this time I did 1, 2, 3 damage and an automatic wound, and he blocked 2. So that means I do an automatic wound plus another one, so I did 2 wounds. Wow, he is 1 life point from being dead, and now I'm in trouble because I only have 1 life left, and I'm sure he's going to be coming after me hard. So that's the end of my activation phase, and unfortunately, because I attacked him, he actually gets a counter strike before he activates, so I'm in big trouble. He's going to counter strike with 1 yellow and 1 red, and I get 1 blue for my defense. He hits me for 3, and I have none, so I get knocked out. I'm down to 0. Now, it's not the end of the scenario for me, because I have the Lifebringer. And it says at the start of the round, if there are any dead heroes, remove 1 token from this card and resurrect and fully heal a dead hero. So I will be coming back. But we go to the enemy phase. This guy there's nobody for him to attack. He ignores me because I'm down. So we skip his activation. The spider is going to run closer to the door. We go to the experience phase. Okay, so I referenced the rule book, and it doesn't say that I can't spend my experience point when I'm dead. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 10 experience points here, and I'm going to take the max health +2 and the regeneration. I'm going to put a token on here because I don't want to write on my thing. So I'm going to put a token on here to show that I purchased that, and that costs 10, and I get to go. I will get to go to 7 when I resurrect. Now we'll go to the event phase, and we'll do an event. The event says inflict 2 wounds on the enemy in a shadow zone. So that's called Lightbringer's Protection. So this guy is unfortunately not in a shadow zone, but this guy is. So I'm going to inflict 2 wounds on one enemy in a shadow zone. So I'm going to inflict 2 wounds on him. That's going to take him out. But unfortunately, because I didn't kill him, I don't get any experience points for that, I don't think. So I'm not exactly sure what happens if a enemy is defeated. When you're dead and you're in their zone. So I'm going to assume that, and you guys put it in the comments if this is wrong, I'm going to assume that he dies, which he should die because he took 2 wounds and he only had 1 wound left. I'm going to assume that since I'm dead, I don't get the experience points for it. Maybe I do, but I'm going to assume I don't. And then I'm going to assume that this treasure just drops into this area, and I would have to use a movement to pick that up. Oh, right, wrong, let me know. What do you think? I couldn't find it in the rule book. I actually paused the video and looked it up, and I couldn't find it, so let me know what you guys think. So that would be the end of the event phase. And then we go to the end phase. The game is not ended because even though I'm dead, I get to be brought back to life. So at the beginning of my turn, I spend one of these tokens on the life bringer. My guy is fully healed to his max, which my max is now 7 because I took the +2 health. I also get regeneration 1. So at the end of every one of my activations, I actually regenerate a life point. Now I get my 3 actions. I'm going to do my first action as a movement. I'm going to use the first movement point to pick this up because picking up is a movement point. I'm just going to put that in my inventory. And then I'm going to move 1 with the second. The reason I did that because I would have just lost a movement point. My second activation, I'm going to move, and I'm going to attack the giant spider. So the giant spider has 2 blue, 2 green for defense, so he has a crap load of defense, and all I have is a yellow and a red for my attack. So I'm going to go ahead and attack him. We are not in a shadow zone, we are in a light zone, so I cannot use my +1 wound, so that is not good for me. So I'm going to go ahead and roll, and I think this was his blue. I'm going to pull that over here. Either way, it doesn't matter. So he got 2 defense, which is not great for him, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. So I actually did 2 damage to him, which is really good. So I'm going to do 2 damage to him. So he now has 3 damage. I also have my free headbutt skill, so I'm going to use my free headbutt skill now. And I am going to roll this and hope to get a bunch of hits, because for every hit, I get to do a wound. A 1, so I get to do a wound on that. So I've done 4 damage to him, so he's hurting too. We're both not great. The only problem is that's the end of my turn, and so now he gets to counterattack. So he counterattacks with 2 yellow and a red, and I only have 1 blue for defense. So I am going to roll this, and he hit me for 3. I have no defense at all, so I take 3. 1, 2, 3, and then he's going to move as well on his counterattack. Then we go to the enemy's phase, and he's going to move. He's running away from me. Then we go to the experience phase. I don't have any experience to spend, so then we're going to go to the event phase. And this says forward monster patrol. If there are already roaming monsters in play, activate 1. If not, spawn a roaming monster card. Place the enemy in a zone with a token of the current level +1. So it's the same thing we had last time, but now we're in level 2, so we draw a level 2 guard. Good thing I'm not on this tile, or we would be in level 3. So Goblin Warriors. So let me find my master for Goblin Warriors. Looks like he's got a sword. Yep, he's there. And then he gets 1 minion, which are these guys, I think. And I'm going to put him out here and draw him a level 2 treasure. So it goes there. Level 2 treasure. It is a Javelin of Sure Strike, it is ranged, and he is not ranged, so he does not get to use it, thank goodness, because that would make him really powerful. And then that's the end of the event phase, and now we go to the end phase and we start over. It is now my turn, so I get some activation. So I'm going to use my first activation to do movement, so I get 2 movements. So I'm going to go 1, 2. And I'm going to use my next activation. Unfortunately, this guy's still in a light zone, so I'm going to use my next activation to attack him. My attack is 1 and 1, and his defense is crazy. It's 2 green, 2 blue. I don't know how I even hit him last time. We are not in a shadow zone, so I cannot use my shadow skill. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a swing and hope for the best. Oh, and he got all kinds of defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I got 3, so he blocked all. If we would have been in a darkness zone, I would have done a damage, but I don't. I'm gonna go ahead and try to do my headbutt for my. It's a free action, and then I still have 1 action left after that. So headbutt, come on, give me a really good headbutt. Well, I did a damage with my headbutt, so at least that's a damage. And then I'm going to attack him again. I don't have a lot of hope for hitting him, but if he has a bad defense roll, I might be able to get him. He did not have a bad defense roll. He got 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I only did 3. So that's the end of my turn. This is not looking good for me. I got him down 5. He only has 7 life, but I really need to get him into a darkness zone, because if I would have had him in a darkness zone, I would have done 2 more hits on him, and I actually would have taken him out. But this isn't going to be good, because he's going to counterattack, he's going to move, and then he's going to move past those guys, and I'm going to kind of be stuck fighting those guys. Let's see what happens. So we'll go into the end of my turn's over, so we go into the counter strike phase. So he's going to counter strike me. So he has 2 yellow and a red. I get 1 blue. He does 1 damage to me, so I have to take 1 damage. He's going to move then. Then the enemy phase starts, and these goblin warriors are going to activate. They are melee, so they are going to move here and attack me. And they attack with 1 red and 1 yellow, and I have a blue for defense, so they are going to attack me. And they have attack, reroll, blank results 1 additional time, and they had no blanks, and they actually hit me for 4, which actually takes me out. I'm down again. That's not good. That ends the enemy phase. This guy will move at the end of the enemy phase. We go into the experience phase. I have none. We go into the event phase, and the event phase says rear monster patrol. If there are already roaming monsters in play, activate 1. If not, spawn a roaming monster. This should have been a roaming monster instead of this guard. I actually that should have been a roaming monster. So I messed up on that. I guess I'll just go ahead and replace that with a roaming monster. We are in level 2, so it would be a lesser. So it's an abysmal demon. I'm going to put it on with this guy. He's also melee, so it wouldn't have made any difference. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to replace these 2. I'm going to die anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. With an abysmal demon. And then we're going to continue on as if he was already there. And then the next card said that if there was already a roaming monster in play, activate it. So this guy would get activated. He wouldn't do anything because there's nobody for him to attack. And I'm down, so he ignores me. I think that normally the roaming monsters will move towards the exit and then actually turn around once they get to the exit and move toward the entrance, but there's really no reason to do that here, so I'm not going to do that. So we'll end the event phase, and we'll go back to the player phase, and on the player phase, we will stand up. Unfortunately, this guy has 4 life, and I think my spider is going to escape, But all I can do right now is I have to deal with him because I cannot move out of his location because I'm stuck there. I do not have slippery like the spider does, so I can't move out of his location, so I've just got to deal with him. And if I can deal with him, then I can try to go deal with the spider, but it's not looking very good. I've only got about 2 more rounds to be able to take that spider out. So, but anyway, let's look at the thing at hand, and the thing at hand is my resurrection. So I take this off of here, I resurrect, I go back to 7. Now I start my turn with my 3 AP, and for my first AP I'm just going to attack this abysmal demon. I get 1 yellow, 1 red, and he actually gets 2 green for his defense. His card is a ranged, but he can't use ranged, and it doesn't add any defense to him. So let's hope for the best here. He is in a light zone, so I don't get my shadow mode skill. And he blocked all of my damage, so I did no damage to him. I'm going to attack him again. Reroll that. I might actually get a damage on him. Nope. 4 and 4, so I missed again. And last attempt to do something to the abysmal demon. I got 4, 3. I actually did a damage to him, so I did damage him. I'm also going to headbutt him. So if I got a really good roll on the headbutt, I could possibly take him out. And I got a bad roll in the headbutt, so I missed. So that's the end of my activation. He gets to counterattack. He gets 2 red to 1 of my blue. And he hit me for 2, but he's got this attack plus 1 wound and heal 1 from the abysmal demon. So he gets to heal, and he does an additional wound. So he is going to do 3 wounds to me. So I got to take 3 wounds. 1, 2, 3. That's the end of his counterattack. Then it actually goes to the enemy phase, where he gets to attack me again. So he's going to attack me again. And I blocked his damage. Look at that. So he does no damage to me. That ends his enemy phase, but the spider will activate and go to the exit. So he's going to exit the board on his next turn if I can't get to him, and I'm going to lose the game, which is probably what's going to happen. But that's the end of the enemy phase. We go to the experience phase. I'm not doing an experience. The event phase, where we draw an event. The events are killing me here. Rear monster patrol. If there's already a roaming monster in play, activate 1. And there is, so he's going to attack me. And he hit me for 2. I'm still alive. Barely. I have 2 life. And then that ends the event, and then it goes to my turn. So for my turn, he gets 2 green. I get a yellow and a red for attack. And I'm going to attempt to attack him. All the damage I did to him last time is for naught. And that was a terrible roll, so that's a miss on the first attack. Miss on the second attack. Miss on the third attack. And then the headbutt roll. I do 1 damage to him. That's the end of my turn. He is going to counterattack. And he does 1 damage to me. I am still alive, believe it or not. But then at the end of the enemy's phase, then he's going, that was his counterattack. Now he gets to attack me again on the enemy's phase. And he just destroys me. Look at that. He does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. I block 1 of them. That's 5. But then he removes a wound and does a 6th damage. So he hits me for 6. And I'm dead. At the end of the enemy's phase, the spider would escape the dungeon. My dead body lays there like a fool in the dungeon. And I've just been defeated in Massive Darkness. But that's how you play Massive Darkness. I think I played everything right. The only thing I'm not 100% sure on, and I'd love to have some clarification in the comments, is what happens if a creature dies and you didn't actually kill them. In fact, I was actually dead when he died, so I'm not sure how all that works. I also don't know if I was allowed to spend experience points when I was dead, but I did it anyway. So that's it. That's Massive Darkness. I actually really enjoyed playing this game. It was fun. It seemed fast. I'm sure it wasn't all that fast. It looks like the video is going to be fairly long, but it was fun. And if you guys have this game, let me know how your experiences are going. If you like this video, put a comment. If you don't like this video, put a comment. Let me know what you don't like about it. I'll try to change those things that you don't like. Otherwise, until I see you guys again, happy gaming. This video was provided by The Lonely Gamer. To see more of our news, reviews, and videos, please visit us at lonelytabletopgamer.com.